children. Today we are going to start a new chapter, a different kind of school. This is chapter number 5 in your English Reader Honeysuckle book. Before reading an explanation of the chapter, I would like to discuss about the author of this chapter. E.V. Lucas, Edward Verrill Lucas. British journalist, essayist, traveller writer and novelist. Born in Eltham, Kent, he received an irregular education before starting work at a bookshop in Brighton where he began to read widely. After working as a journalist in Sussex and London, he joined the staff of Punch, of which he became assistant editor. The Open Road, 1899, was followed by well over 100 titles. His travel writings are principally represented by his A Wanderer, in series which covered London 1904, Holland 1905, Paris 1909, Florence 1912, and other towns and countries in Britain and Europe. His light and urbanely fluent style, which he claimed to have developed by translating Maupassant, was adequate to essays on the remarkable range of subjects. Collection of such pieces include Listener's Lure, 1905, Old Lamb for New, 1911, and a Roarer I Would Be, 1928. He also published introductory studies of painters, among which are Vermeer of the Delft, 1922, and John Constable, the painter, 1924. Over Bampton, 1908, the most notable of his numerous novels, draws on his experience of the book trade. He produced the standard edition of the works of Charles Lamb and Mary Lamb and wrote the authoritative life of the Charles Lamb. A different kind of school. This lesson is a message about how doing simple things can make learning more interesting and easier. Learning while doing is the best way to learn different things. Moreover, other than learning routine things, we need to make ourselves aware and concerned about our environment and its problems. How we can make children more responsible and aware citizens. To know this, let's read the lesson. I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school, but not till last week did the chance came to visit it. When I arrived, there was no one in sight but a girl of above 12. Her eyes were covered with the bandage, and she was being led carefully between the flower beds by a little boy, who was about 4 years younger. She stopped, and it looked like she asked him who had come. He seemed to be describing me to her. Then they passed on. Miss Beam was all that I had expected, middle-aged, full of authority, yet kindly and understanding. Her hair was beginning to turn grey, and she had the kind of the plump figure that is likely to be comforting to a homesick child. I asked her some question about her teaching methods, which I had heard were simple. No more than is needed to help them to learn how to do things. Simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting talks, during which they have to sit still and keep their hands quiet. There are practically no other lessons. The real aim of this school is not to so much to teach thought as to teach thoughtfulness, kindness to others, and being responsible citizen. Look out of the window a minute, will you? I went to the window which overlooked a large garden and a playground at the back. What do you see? Miss Bean asked. I see some very beautiful grounds, I said, and a lot of jolly children. It pains me, though, to see that they are not all so healthy and active looking. When I came in, I saw one poor little girl being led about. She was some trouble with her eyes. Now I can see two more with the same difficulty. Now there's girl with a clutch watching the others at play. She seems to be a hopeless cripple. Miss Beam laughed. Oh no, she said, she's not really lame. This is only her lame day. The others are not blind either. It is only their blind day. I must have looked very surprised, for she laughed again. This is a very important part of our system to make our children appreciate and understand misfortune. We make them share in misfortune too. Each term, every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one dumb day. During the child day, their eyes are bandaged absolutely and they are on their honor not to peep. The bandage is put on overnight so they wake blind. This means that they need help with everything. Other children are given the duty of helping them and leading them about. They all learn so much this way, both the blind and the helpers. There is no misery about it, Miss Beam continued. Everyone is very kind, and it is really something of a game. Before the day is over, though even the most thoughtless child realize what misfortune is. The blind day is, of course, really the worst, but some of the children tell me that the dumb day is the most difficult. We cannot bandage the children's mouth, so they really have to exercise their willpower. Come into the garden and see for yourself how the children feel about it. Miss Beam led me to one of the bandaged girl. Here's a gentleman come to talk to you, said Miss Beam, and left us. Don't you ever peep? I asked the girl. Oh no, she exclaimed. That would be cheating. But I had no idea it was so awful to be blind. You can't see a thing. You feel you are going to be hit by something every moment. It is such a relief just to sit down. Are your helpers kind to you? I asked. Fairly, but they are not as careful as I shall be when it is my turn. Those that have been blind already are the best helpers. It's perfectly ghastly not to see. I wish you did try. Shall I lead you anywhere? I asked. Oh, yes, she said. Let's go for a little walk. Only you must tell me about things. I shall be so glad when today is over. The other bad days can't be half as bad as this. Having a leg tied up and hopping about on crutch is almost fun. I guess having an arm tied up is a bit more troublesome because you can't eat without help and things like that. I don't think I'll mind being deaf for a day, at least not much. But being blind is so frightening. My headaches all the time just for worrying that I'll get hurt. Where are we now? In the playground, I said. We are walking towards the house. Miss Beam is walking up down the garden with a tall girl. What is the girl wearing? my little friend asks. A blue cotton skirt and a pink blouse. I think it's Millie. She said, what color is her hair? Very light, I said. Yes, that's Millie. She's the head girl. There's an old man tying up roses. I said, yes, that's Peter. He's the gardener. He's 100 of years old. And here comes a girl with the curly red hair. She's Anne Clutches. That's Anita, she said. And so we walked on. Gradually, I discovered that I was 10 times more thoughtful than I ever thought I could be. I also realized that if I had to describe people and things to someone else, it made them more interesting to me. When I finally had to leave, I told Miss Beam that I was very sorry to go. Ah, she replied, then there is a something in my system after all. It's the wonderful story. The narrator had heard a lot of good things about Miss Beam and her school. Miss Beam was known for using simple teaching methods in a perfect way. The narrator visited the school. He posed some questions to the teacher. She told him that she taught nothing special but simple calculation and writing. The boys and girls were taught how to do things independently without any help. Few things were read to them. Interesting talks were held to raise their interest. The main objective and aim of the school was to make students more thoughtful and responsible citizens. The narrator went to the school garden, which were beautifully maintained. There he noticed a poor little girl being helped by a boy. He also saw a girl with a crutch. He thought the one was blind and the other was lame. But Miss Beam explained that the school observe one blind, one lame, one deaf, one injured, and one dumb day for every child in a term. These activities make the children more thoughtful and concerned. On the blind day, eyes were bandaged of one child and other children held the blind throughout the day. This game became a great learning for both the blind and their helpers. Thereafter, Miss Beam took the narrator to one of the bandaged girl. The girl shared her feeling and learning with him. She related how she felt scared of being hit at every moment, and this feeling was the most painful one. After this experience, the narrator realized that he had also developed a concerned attitude towards the disabled. He told Miss Beam that he was sorry to leave her school. She felt happy to know that the system in her school was good, and her teaching style and way of imparting values was marvelous. Now I am going to explain paragraph wise. I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school, but not till last week did the chance come to visit it. The narrator is saying that he had heard a lot of about Miss Beam's school, but he got a chance to visit it in the previous week. When I arrived, there was no one in the sight but a girl of about 12. Her eyes were covered with the bandage, means she had a blindfold on her eyes, and she was being led carefully between the flower beds by a little boy who was about 4 years younger. She stopped, and it looked like she asked him who had come. He seemed to be describing me to her. Then they passed on. Insight means to be seen. When the narrator reached the school, no one was there except a 2 year old girl. Her eyes were covered with a bandage, and a 4 year old boy was guiding her between flower beds. She stopped as if to ask who had come. It seemed that he explained the visitor details to her. Then they passed on. Now, the third paragraph. Miss Beam was all that I had expected. Middle aged, full of authority, yet kindly and understanding. Her hair was beginning to turn grey, and she had the kind of plump figure that is likely to be comforting to a homesick child. I asked her some questions about her teaching methods, which I had heard were simple. Now, here the new words are: kindly means friendly, and plump means stout, pleasantly fat. Now, I am going to explain. As per the narrator's expectation, Miss Beam was middle aged, dominating yet friendly and understanding. Her hair was turning grey. She was fat and probably was trying to make a homesick child feel at ease. The author questioned her about the simple methods she used for teaching. No more than is needed to help them to learn how to do the things. Simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting talks during which they have to sit still to keep their hands quiet. There are practically no other lessons. Still means without moving. Now, when the narrator asked, she start she started explaining. Her reply was that in her school they taught simply by helping them to learn simple spellings, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing skills. The rest of the learning was done by reading to them and conducting interesting talks like stories, or you can say the daily uh, conversation, during which they were supposed to sit silently without moving. Except this, there were actually no other lessons. During the class, the children supposed to sit quietly and silently to listen the teacher. Let's move to the paragraph number 5. The real aim of the school is not so much to teach thought as to teach thoughtfulness, kindness to others, and being responsible citizen. Look out of the window a minute, will you? Now, here you can see the real essence of the chapter. What aim of this school? The real aim of the school. Now, I'm going to explain. Further, she added that the actual aim of this school was to teach thoughtfulness of the students, to make them sensibly kind and concerned toward others, and not to awaken them to their duties, to make responsible about nations, about their families, to make responsible for their duties. Then she asked me to look out of the windows. After explaining the motto of the school, she asked me to look out of the window. Now, sixth paragraph. I went to the window which overlooked a large garden and a playground at the back. What do you see? Miss Beam asked. Now, here you can see responsible means aware of their duties. And overlooked means have a view of something from above. Have a view of something from above. Now, in this paragraph, we can see the narrator went to the window and viewed a large garden and a playground. Miss Beam asked him what he was able to see. I see some very beautiful grounds, as I said, at a lot of jolly children. It pains me, though, to see that they are not all so healthy and active looking. When I came in, I saw one poor little girl being led about. She has some trouble with her eyes. Now I can see two more with the same difficulty. And there's girl with a crutch, watching the others at play. She seems to be a hopeless cripple. Now here you can see at play means playing. Hopeless means unfortunate, without hope. Now I am going to explain. Cripple means disabled. The narrator explained that all he was able to see beautiful grounds, many cheerful children. He was sad to notice some children who were not very healthy and active. After coming in, he noticed a girl who had trouble with her eyes. Then he observed two more with the same kind of disability. He also noticed a girl with a crutch who was watching the other children at play. Perhaps she was lame. Now, in this paragraph, you can see the main circumstances which was in the school. Now, let's move to the paragraph number 8. Miss Beam laughed. "Oh no," she said. "She's not really lame." Now, here the lame means those who are not able to move. She is not really lame. This is only her lame day. Lame day means day on which she acts as if she was lame. The others are not blind either. It is only their blind day. I must have looked very surprised, for she laughed again. Now here Miss Beam explained, and she began laughing, and she said, Miss Beam laughed and explained that she was not lame, rather it was her lame day. The others are also not blind, but are all observing their blind day. She laughed again at my astonished look, because I got amazed. The narrator said, I got amazed because this is the different kind of the school, and nobody observed these type of the days, because in each and every school there is a Father's Day, Mother's Day, Parents' Day, Teacher's Day. But in this school, they are having the special days like Blind Day, Lame Day. So it is very astonishing for the narrator. I must have looked very surprised. He was amazed. She laughed again at my astonished look. Now let's move to the 9th paragraph. This is very important part of our system to make our children appreciate and understand misfortune. Misfortune means here unfortunate condition, bad luck. We make them share in misfortune too. Each term, every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one dumb day. During the blind day, their eyes are bandaged absolutely and they are on their honor not to peep. The bandage is put on overnight so they wake blind. This means that they need help with everything. Other children are giving the duty of helping them and leading them about. They all learn so much this way, both the blind and the helpers. Now here we can see some new words. Misfortune means unfortunate condition, bad luck. Their eyes are bandaged means they are blindfolded. Are on their honor means have promised. Now I am going to explain this paragraph. Thereafter she explained that to make their children appreciate, accept and understand misfortune with the same mind as fortune, they have made some activities an essential part of their system. Each term, every child is supposed to observe one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day. It means every misfortune, or you can say that every problem, whether it is physical or mental or other than that, they are supposed to observe these type of the days. One injured day and one dumb day. One blind day, their eyes are blindfolded and they promise that day not to peep at all, not to see. And all this done overnight so that they wake up in a blind like condition and get help from everything they do. Other children have the duty to help and guide them. This way, both the blind and the helpers learn a lot of things. So, this way, Mrs. Beam giving a thoughtful lesson to the children to understand the misfortune about the society, those who are suffering for these type of deformities. Because every child should know about the deformities and they should handle how to overcome. So this is the, you can say it is a very powerful teaching by Mrs. Beam. The 10th paragraph. There is no misery about it, Miss Beam continued. Everyone is very kind, and it is really something of a game. The day is over, though even the thoughtless child realizes what misfortune is. Now, here we can see the new word misery. Misery means difficulty and business, and thoughtless means careless. Miss Beam further said that this type of a game, even a very careless child learns at the end of the day. For this type of practice gives a lesson to the child to understand the painness of the others. Because in our society, so many pains and sickness. Should understood. And even the child who is careless about anything, at the end of the day, he get realize that what bad luck is, what deformity is and what is the pain of a lame, blind, and the dumb people. So, this way, Miss Beam continued her teaching.